Hey, welcome to the show that happens on Tuesday nights. My name is Ultra David.
And I'm James Chen.
This is Ultra Chen TV. Tonight we're going to be talking about the game that was just recently released. It was released officially in the US last Tuesday, exactly a week ago. A little bit later than that officially elsewhere, but I know a lot of people have been able to get their hands on it beforehand. If you have like a local mom and pop, like early release secret store.
Nobody knows what you're talking about.
Well,
that doesn't happen at all.
I know some people got it 2 weeks ago.
Really?
Like last Wednesday.
Holy smokes. Okay.
You know, some people have had it already for a little while. And we kind of want to talk about what the game has been like so far.
Right.
What we think about it, what other people will think about it, and, you know, maybe where we expect it to go, what we're expecting.
And you've been kind of busy with that because you were just on Wake Up SRK talking to them about that.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I was just on with Ski Sonic and Keats talking about that.
And you teleported over here and then got ready for this show.
It was hard, believe me. Yeah, it took some technology.
Yeah. Cool. But yeah, we're definitely going to talk about a little bit about the game, and just because we've been gathering a lot of thoughts from a lot of different people playing it ourselves as well. And, you know, there's definite concerns right now with the direction that the game is heading. But if you want to start on that.
Okay, sure. So just to let you know, I just want to explain my own thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
So the first thing that I tried to do when this game came out was break it. And
of
what
course.
I mean was, well,
that's what top players do, right? You know, I mean, in a specific way. So
that's absolutely true. They do want to break it, but I was interested in breaking it in a way that I expected it would actually be broken, and that was with auto block and auto throw tech gems. So the first few days I was really just playing it to troll everybody and to see how effective auto block and auto throw tech really were. I got a 43 win streak. The first or second day, I went 43-1 that day. It was like,
nice.
Come on. And there were just things that I could do with auto block and auto throw tech that were not reasonable. And so kind of came to a conclusion that they were broken and that I should stop using them because they're broken. And I talked with Arturo Sanchez, Sabin, and with Alyun in France. And they both agree that, you know, they've done some research of their own into those gems, and they agree. Too good, got to be banned.
Well, I mean, like, what's the reasoning? I mean, obviously we can sit here and just say, oh, they're too good, forget them. But, I mean, like, what was it about them that you found out made them too good?
Right. So the things that were broken, just too useful in every aspect of the game. It really changes the game too much. It's not just a defensive gem. I think people might think that it is just a defensive gem.
Right.
That is to say, like, sure, if you have a bar of meter, you can just crouch block, and if the opponent does an overhead, you'll block it automatically.
Mm-hmm.
That's nice. I mean, that can be big because some characters in this game depend on having those high-low mix-ups, and if they don't, then they're just not going to be effective characters. So you can kind of like neuter some characters in that way.
I'm going to go set one of my characters to use these gems just
okay,
so
cool.
we can kind of show it on the screen as well.
Oh, somebody hasn't done this before, huh?
I guess not.
Okay, nice. The thing about gems, in addition to that, is that they're awesome in footsies and in pressure. So I can just literally walk toward and wait for you to press a button that you're buffering into something else that is less safe than the normal that you're using. And wait for, you know, me to trigger that normal. I'll automatically block it. You'll come out with your thing anyway. It's unsafe. I get to punish it. So that totally changes how that game has to be played. But then even up close, if I think you're going to do some reversal something, I mean, I could block it, but what if I think that you're going to backdash on Wake Up?
Mm-hmm.
I can just hold to ward against you, and if you do backdash, then I get to punish you. And if you don't, oh well, I spent a bar of meter to take that risk because I'm not going to get hit. It's not a big deal. And then there are even things like characters that have strings that go high-low. I can, and if they're safe at a certain distance but not up close, what I can do is walk forward into them, get closer, knowing that I'm going to get hit, or that I should get hit, but since I have auto block, I can't get hit, and then punish. Right. So anyway, it's defense, offense, zoning,
it sounds to me like
pressure.
A lot of people have obviously thought about it very carefully from a defensive standpoint, and maybe they worked really hard to make sure it was balanced there. But the mark of a strong player, of a smart player, is the person who always uses everything the way they weren't meant to be used.
Right.
So as soon as you equip an auto throw gem or auto tech throw, auto block gem, you're thinking, oh, now I can turtle. But it's not about that. It's minimizing the guessing game, right? Because normally in the guessing game, you have to think about maybe one of 3 options and weigh, well, I'm going to take the least amount of damage in this one. So, but then if you have the auto block gem, you're not going to take any damage in that direction so long as you have meter. I had actually thought about using, obviously everyone knows I'm a Cammy player, and her dive kick has a lot of delay now. So after lots of heights, when the dive kick is blocked, you actually end up kind of in a, I would say, negative situation, maybe -2 frames, -3 frames or something. And I was thinking about equipping the auto tech throw gem, because now after a dive kick, really I have to guess, are they going to hit me or am I going to get thrown? I don't want to uppercut because I can't FADC the uppercut, so it's not as safe as an option in this game. So I'm just going to equip the auto tech throw gem, dive kick on people and block, because now they can't throw me. And the tricky thing is about both the auto block gem and the auto tech throw gem is you can still tech throw and auto block and manual block.
Right.
You can manual tech throw and manual block and not lose the meter.
Right. So if I'm a good blocker already, then when I'm on defense, I'm gonna have more meter because I'm not gonna just get stupidly auto blocked all day. But it also it feeds into the game's current kind of issue of timing out a lot because. Yes. If you have 3 bars and you have a life lead and you just put yourself in the corner, I think that's it. That's pretty much the game.
Yeah.
And, still trying to block the opponent's attacks. They're just not going to get you that many times. So it really hurts the game in strategy and in the timeout factor. The throw tech thing. That kills so many characters. Like maybe worse than auto block because a lot of characters. Don't have, especially in the Street Fighter side, don't have high-low mix-ups that are good and deal lots of damage. Maybe just a single overhead. Like, Guile can do this. Like, okay.
Right.
That's not a huge deal. But if you have a character like a Rufus or a Cammy or...
I've actually joked that auto tech throw gem is a 10-0 matchup versus Cammy.
Yeah, right. So if you don't have any reason to flinch, if you're not worried about frame traps because you can't get thrown... then characters like, those two, maybe like Dictator and a few others, just don't know what they do. Don't know what they do. So, anyway, boost gems, assist gems, definitely going to be banned. Whether assist gems get banned in tournament play just for time reasons is a different story.
Right.
But what do you think about assist gems just in general, in terms of gameplay?
Just, you mean like the auto tech throws?
No.
You're talking about the boost gems.
Oh,
right?
I'm sorry. Yeah, the boost gems.
Boost
right.
gems. The boost gems are interesting because right now it's really hard to kind of feel their effects right now. They just kind of happen, and the speed gems, for example, a common misconception is that speed gems actually change the speed of your attacks, and that's actually not true. Speed gem only changes how fast you move and how fast you jump and dash and such. But as soon as you start attacking, everything is the same speed. So there's actually no extra combos. And so far, I'll see someone start glowing green, and I really haven't noticed anything hugely different with how
I actually noticed a negative. So I was playing Vega, and one of his auto gems, or one of the already set gems, I should say, is speed.
Right.
And so I got speed. I tried to do jump fierce, stand fierce, fierce rolling claw. You don't have enough time to charge anymore because he's so fast. His speed literally
hurt him.
It's literally hurt him. So there's a negative. I don't know if that's a common thing. Probably not. But
that's really
kind of random. Yeah.
And also one of the things that I did right now before I came to training mode, if you notice the gems that I set the those assist gems.
Meter auto?
I put 2 meter ones here.
Yeah.
And one of them is your teammate connects with the launcher, I think it is, right? So if I do
that's the 40% gain in meter.
So now I'm getting 40% extra meter here for 15 seconds.
Right.
And I don't know, that's seems
super good.
Awfully good to me.
Yeah, the great thing about meter gems is that their effect lasts. It's not like the other gems where after the time is over, that's it. All the meter that you build when you have a meter gem is going to stick around afterwards. So it has this permanent kind of effect.
Yeah, it would be a lot different if you gained this meter and if you didn't use it, it went away.
Yeah, I'm not talking about the normals with this Vega thing. The reason that you can't get this combo anymore is that you just have barely enough time to do jump, immediately hold back to charge, and then do jump fierce in the air, then close fierce, only one hit because only the first one is cancelable, and then do toward plus fierce for the roll. So it's a movement dependent thing, and if your character is faster, then you don't have the same amount of time to charge. That's why it doesn't work.
Look how fast I'm building meter right now. Look at that. Whew! Jeez, and I have a meter already.
Right.
And I was wasting all of my time doing, just to get.
Yeah, I mean that's
the
really good. I think that at some point most people will probably end up having meter gems if gems stick around in tournament play.
Yeah.
I think that a lot of people will also have something like defense or offense or whatever it is that they think will help their character. But I really feel like everybody's got to have at least 1 or 2 meter gems. They're so good. Yeah, and in this game, meter is everything. Yeah. It's hugely important for how much damage you do, for the setups you can get, for how safe or unsafe you are.
For auto tech throw.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, obviously for that. But yeah, so the gems, boost, maybe okay. Not really sure. Probably won't stick around in tournaments just because they take too long to select. Assist. Those are done.
Yeah, and honestly, there's also the issue as well of the DLC gems. Yeah. Because there's one gem in here, I think, that's like you gain 20% damage, but you get a 10% speed decrease. And I think there's a DLC gem where that 10% speed decrease is not there. But other than that, it's the exact same gem, right?
So I mean, clearly the DLC gems are trading money for better abilities.
Right.
That's the explicit intent. And in competitive play, that's just not going to be able to work. I mean, we're not going to let that rock.
Right.
Christoph on Twitter says, why not, if auto throw tech and auto block gems are so good, why not abuse them until people are forced to acknowledge that, like Damn Die with HDR Akuma, which is a good reference.
Yeah.
We have been doing that. And even though it hasn't been in tournament, we have been doing that, and I think that everybody who's seen it has come away with the idea that it's super busted. The only reason that we haven't been able to show it in tournament is just that tournaments are already banning gems because they take too long to select.
Right.
So.
Yeah, I mean, if you noticed when I was trying to set my gems, you only have 2 sets of gems that you can set up, and so I mean, can you imagine? You come here, you set your gems for Rufus because Rufus is Rolento. Let's use Rolento because everybody and their mother is using Rolento right now, right?
Yeah.
You set your gems for Rolento. It'd be nice if you were a person who used an unused character, because if you use an unused character, come back to the machine, your gems are probably still there.
Well, yeah.
Right? So, but if you're using Rolento, people are going to be changing his gems constantly, and I don't know, it's just going to be a time sink.
Yeah, it would take a million years. So, okay, I guess we're going to take our first break. Enough about gems. I'd much rather talk about the actual gameplay of the game. So we'll do that when we come back. You gonna get it? Oh, don't do that. Hey, welcome back. This is Ultra Chen TV, whatever the show is called this week. Actually, you know what? I like somebody on Twitter called it Ultra Cross Chen.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw that. Yeah.
I thought that was pretty sick. So today we're talking about that was at Dark Dragon 8888.
Shout outs to that.
Yeah.
Must be Chinese. I'm just going to say, I'm sure he's Chinese.
I just think it's funny that he came up with that cool show name and his Twitter name is Dark Dragon 8888. Like, really? Whatever. So anyway, we're talking about Street Fighter Cross Tekken today, and what our early thoughts on it are. Of course, the game has only been out less than a week in some places, up to a maximum of about 2 weeks.
Right.
So extremely early on. There's going to be a ton of growth left in the game, but it's cool to talk about how it is right now anyway.
Right. I mean, right now, I mean, the biggest concern that's on everybody's mind, in my opinion, is the timeout factor, which has been plaguing like every event, and even like me and you played a little bit last night after the shows, and I think we were timing out the majority of the matches.
Yeah. I mean, it was pretty incredible. I kind of think, like, I want to say that it's because of the characters that we use.
Right.
So I'm using Hugo. I was using Hugo Zangief. I'm trying to move away from that team now because of that experience. And you were using Cammy Zangief, and Interestingly enough, Zangief was the most active character of those three, which is weird because that's the opposite of how it usually goes.
Well, I mean, it's just kind of one of those situations where the game is designed in such a way that, you know, I almost feel like that this might be a balance issue right now, but, you know, literally Hugo could not attack Cammy and Cammy could not attack Hugo.
Right.
So we basically spent the entire match just doing this. Like, none of us could do anything. And I don't know, whichever one of us attacked first would die.
Pretty much. I mean, so there's a range where all of Hugo's... So, okay, Hugo's normals are terrible. He has basically 2 buttons, like stand short and crouching short buffered into stuff. Right. That's it. His crouching short actually beat a lot of Cammy's stuff.
Like all of her.
Like all of her stuff.
Yeah.
So if she moved into the range of the crouching short, then she was kind of screwed. But she has much, much better walk speed than Hugo and can stay out of that range. And Hugo can't use his other normals that have better range because they're so bad. So he can't.
Right.
It's a weird matchup. Like, I don't really know what to make of it.
Yeah, actually, it's kind of interesting. I almost want to discuss this to kind of interrupt ourselves here.
Yeah, sure.
But Nigglypuff13 said, why don't we just put only power gems?
I mean, that
only allow power gems, and it might make it so that people die faster at least.
When we were playing, did you feel like I had no damage output?
Yeah, that's
I was doing
true.
600k or 600k. I was doing 600 damage on you whenever I landed a splash.
Yeah,
and then I landed up with Zangief right in your face, right? That was good, but we were still having the same issue.
Yeah,
so.
Actually, most of the time when we timed out, the top player actually had all of their life on. Like, you know, we would never switch away from our main characters. The top characters would always have all of their life, and so pretty much we could never win in the end, you know, trying to kill the other guy fast enough because there was no chance of us winning because we had to drain like a third of the main character's life, and the other character had this giant chunk. So no matter how much damage I did to your main character, your point, if I did not kill him, I was not winning. It was like guaranteed. And the interesting thing is, you know, we were talking about how our characters, you know, might have promoted the defensive play. But if you've seen the recent tweets from Flo, I think he tweeted that, you know, he's like, this timeout is a real problem. And I was just talking to Justin a little earlier today, and he told me that they were timing out each other a lot last night. And they're both using offensive characters.
Right.
They're using Rufus and such, right? And they said that as soon as the round got to about 30 seconds, it was guaranteed that someone was timing out.
Right, because it's not just that they're good offensive players; they're really good defensively too. Mm-hmm. That's just they're really good players. So that they're going to have that kind of issue. Like I wrote this post on shoryuken.com that like went over why I think that the timeouts are there. So
which forum? That's in the Street Fighter Cross Tekken.
Yes, this is
forum.
in the Cross Tekken forum under the thread SFxT 99 seconds.
Did you start this thread?
I did not start the thread. Okay. I just came in halfway through. So the timer never stops running. Which is terrible because cinematic supers take forever.
Right.
Like at least 5 seconds. Team supers can take like 12 to 15 seconds. Mm-hmm. That's a ton of time to lose. Throws take 3 to 5 seconds, not just in animation, but like until you can hit the opponent again or throw the opponent again, which is a very long period of time. Even regular combos can last 5 to 10 seconds and take off 500 damage, which, you know, I have what, 2,300 life on my team? What's 500 damage to me? Like, who cares? It doesn't matter. So there's that. There's this life issue, but then there's the damage scaling formula that it uses, which is the same one as in Street Fighter 4.
Right.
So it's 100% for the first one, 100% for the second one, then 80% for the third move, then 70, 60, 50, 40, 30, 20, 10, and everything after that is 10.
Right.
So in a game where combos can realistically expect to have 20 to 30 individual moves sometimes, I mean, that makes no sense, right? Like every move that you're doing after a certain point does negligible damage.
By comparison, you can talk about custom combos in CVS2, and I only know this because I wrote a CVS2 fact, but as soon as you activate custom combo, the first hit does 80%. But then it scales by, I think, not 10%. I think it scales every hit by 8%. And even that little difference is, I mean, it starts at 80.
Yeah.
And even that little difference makes it so that it scales down much slower, so you can actually do a lot more damage at the end.
Right.
And, you know, and even, and the other big thing, too, about CVS2 was that the supers were always full damage, I think. So I almost feel like there needs to be something like that in this game that...
Like Marvel 3 has unscaled supers.
Right, exactly. Or even minimum damage scaling. So the normal moves can scale a lot farther, but special moves and supers have a higher minimum that they drain to. So some characters, I think like Spencer has a ridiculous like 50% on his special moves or something like that. So I feel like they need to implement something similar to that, because I noticed a lot of people doing supers at the end of these really long combos, and it looks cool and you feel like you've done a lot of damage, but if you watch that life bar, nothing's happening at all.
Yeah. And then there's the fact that you recover life. 50% of the damage you take from chains, 33% from other normals, and 20% of the specials that you get hit by, you can recover. Which, again, in a game that has 2,000 life, unless you're playing two of the lowest life characters, which is like 1,800 life, I guess, or 1,750.
Well, if you play Akuma and characters, I think Akuma has the lowest at 850.
Yeah, right, so like 1,750.
Yeah.
1,750 to 2,350, I think, is the range.
Yeah.
You can get a lot of that life back. Then there are mechanics that make mounting and maintaining offense harder. Throws, terrible range.
Right.
And that makes it impractical for some characters to really open up people on offense. Alpha counter is super good. There's the whole roll, stand, or backdash mix-up on knockdowns. Stages are also super long. I don't know if people have realized this yet, but the stages in this game are actually really long. Yeah, let's go over to the...
Take a look at this.
Yeah, definitely. Like, it takes a little while to walk. How's it going, everybody behind? Oh, just nothing. Walking. I'm still walking. This is still happening. Oh, yeah, here we go. I'm not done yet. Nope, still not there. Nope, not yet. Hold on. Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean,
like,
honestly, that's probably twice as wide as a third strike stage.
Yeah.
I'm not even.
It's
joking.
super long, dude.
Because third strike stages are really short. Like, they're really thin. They're not very. And this was just, I don't know.
So okay. Then there's the issue that some of the strong characters early, which I guess we'll get to in a bit, seem like they're good at timing out. And we can change that. Like, if the game evolves, we can fix the character thing. Like, maybe we'll all be picking rushdown characters, but and maybe we'll all be doing more damage. But I kind of already feel like people are doing that. Mm-hmm. Like you said, Justin and Flo are playing characters like Rufus and Rufus, Jury, Chun-Li, that kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if anyone caught Flo when he got his 65-game win streak on Peaceful J stream a couple of nights ago. But when he was doing that, he was beating up people so fast. I mean, when I was watching that, I was like, okay, timer's not a problem.
Okay,
timer is not a problem. This is definitely just a case of 1 week-old game or whatever like that. And then Flo puts up the tweet, timer is a problem.
Yeah, I mean, he's now he's playing against Justin Wong, an extremely strong player, and that's an issue. So, some people say, is this like in Marvel vs. Capcom 3 where before the game came out, some people thought that there were going to be timeouts? Because if you recall, people didn't know combos at the time.
No one could kill anybody, yeah.
But I don't remember that being something that top players were really thinking about. I guess I don't recall that being a complaint except against people who didn't really know how to build combos. Mm-hmm. Here we are already feeling like we're probably getting close to maxing out damage at like maybe 700 or 800 damage, and I think that's about it. Like, I don't know what else you can do except for just play different characters. I mean, I don't know.
I mean, the question really comes down to, at this point, do we have systems in this game that are not being fully explored?
Right.
Like, I remember Vi at Cross Assault, he was doing stuff like this and then saying what he could do here. Mm-hmm. But the problem is, the character is a random controlled computer, so it's like you can't get anything consistent out of that, right? But then also, we aren't playing with gems. We're not playing with a lot of gems. Right?
I mean, maybe that would help.
And, obviously, some characters like Cammy here, so let me drop my vitality gauge. I dropped the opponent's.
Down to Pandora level.
Yeah, I mean, she has the jump cancelable standing roundhouse, right? So, I've never tried this before.
I don't know. I haven't tried it either. But you're trying to jump cancel roundhouse into Pandora mode.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, I'm not really sure how that works, but I know it's doable.
Yeah, but you can do that, and then there's been some combo videos where people have showed that. Maybe that actually becomes something. Or
could
even
be.
like a wall bounce, right? I mean, can you do wall bounce into Pandora maybe and still juggle in time?
Yeah, I mean that's those. So those are definitely things that we can look at. Unfortunately, Pandora has this system built in where it's only available to you if you have 25% or less life, and it kills you if you don't kill the opponent in 8 seconds. So it has some major downsides that are going to limit. Even if we find that there's 1,000 damage combo with this thing, if it kills an entire character, it's not going to come up very often. It's not going to be super useful, unfortunately. I do think that there are things that we can do. I think that, for example, we could start building combos that don't knock the opponents down, so that they can't do the roll or stand or backdash thing. Right. I think that's currently what I'm working on. I feel like that could have an important role to play in lessening the timeouts because there are fewer escapes.
Right. And interestingly enough, if that was the case, I honestly feel like the Tekken characters are going to be so much better than the Street Fighter characters.
Yeah.
They have a bunch of those strings. They have a bunch of those chains.
Totally agree.
And I just feel like the Street Fighter characters don't have those things, and so they're not going to be able to keep the opponent grounded as easily.
Right. So, hopefully we'll pick better characters. Hopefully we'll learn better combos. Hopefully, we'll do what we can to make this not an issue. But again, we're just talking about super early in this game. Games always evolve a lot. And hopefully a month from now, hopefully a year from now, this won't be an issue. But currently it is. So I guess that's it for timeouts. We'll take a little bit of a break right now.
I want to land this so bad.
Oh, you really want to land this on stream? Okay, fine. Let's see what you can do. Boom. It's 0 frame. Dude, it takes 4 seconds. No, you missed it.
I know, I missed it so bad because I don't know when it stops.
This actually factors into the timer scams, because if you do Pandora and you're not fully activated before the timer runs out, then that's a timer scam.
No, it's too slow. Okay.
And Supers have so much animation and stuff. There's lots of timer scams available. Anyway, all right.
Yeah, whatever.
Never mind. We'll take care of that later. Again, hopefully things change, but right now, definitely a timeout issue.
All right. So we'll be right back.
Hey, welcome back. Ultra David here with Mr. James Chen.
How's it going?
It's going pretty well. So we're talking about Street Fighter Cross Tekken today. Very, very early look at how the game is shaping up and how it might maybe end up or maybe not. We don't really know. Right now, I want to talk about the fun factor.
Right.
I know a lot of people are having a really fun time with this game.
Yes.
Like in talking with other people on Facebook and just reading posts on Facebook. Like, dude, Flash Metroid is all about this game right now. Like, he posts all the time about how the game is so sick.
Right.
So I know that there are people who are enjoying the game.
Now, here's the interesting thing. When we played at Wednesday Night Fights, I'm sorry, not Wednesday Night Fights, but the Level Up tournament that was just played this last weekend on Saturday at Super Arcade, I missed the 2v2 tournament, but we played the 1v1 tournament afterwards, and it actually sounded like a lot of people were very frustrated. They're trolling.
Trolls.
I saw it earlier. They're totally trolling. They're like, tell them their mics are off. So,
I mean, I'm used to it. So.
Yeah, I know, right? So, right. But they even Mike Ross and all those guys are saying, okay, this 1v1 is boring, but 2v2 is amazing. And I was like, why is 2v2 so much better? And they just said it's the egos get in the way.
Yeah.
He said that people don't want to switch out. They tag themselves in, and it's just like you just get a lot of clashing personalities, and things actually happen. And so I don't know. They just said that when you play 2v2, all the trash talking that goes on and everything, they just said it's that much more exciting. And in fact, I even joked that if we ever stream 2v2 tournaments, we should just mic the players and don't even worry about commentary. We don't even need to just listen to them talk trash. I think that would be amazing, actually. So, but I don't know. They were all saying the same thing. They said 2v2 is way more fun. 2v2 is way more fun. I don't know.
I mean, I can tell you that when we commentated at that tournament, 2v2 was a blast.
Yeah.
Scramble mode was hilarious, just from our perspective to commentate it. And hopefully it was fun to watch too.
Right.
That was really, really fun, like no doubt.
Yeah, yeah. So I don't know about the 1v1. I mean, it might just turn out that for the sake of enjoyment, the tournament standard might just become 2v2, frankly.
I guess. I mean, I feel like I'm an idiot kind of in my approach to this game so far because I have friends who I really respect as players who say that the game is totally awesome. And so I feel like what am I doing wrong?
We're playing 1v1, maybe.
I don't know. It's not even that. So I think it's the characters that I was picking. I hope it's the characters that I was picking. Because for sure, Hugo is a very slow character, not just in his movement, but in how he slows the game down.
Right.
Zangief is kind of the same way.
Yeah.
So I've been canvassing people and seeing like, who do you think is really fun?
Right.
Let me know who to pick.
You know what my favorite thing was? Someone actually answered Hugo.
I know, I saw that. Yeah, I was like, what do you? It wasn't just that. It was like Hugo. He has amazing normals. And I was like, no, that doesn't make any sense. I don't know. So I'll be trying stuff out. Hopefully, we'll see. But I don't want to come off as being like overly pessimistic about the game. It's just. This has been our experience so far, and I know other people are having very different experiences. So I just want to make sure that we're putting that out there too. Is some people are really loving the game, so I want to play with them. I want to see what they're doing, and hopefully they're doing it right.
And I think in a couple of days too, the Cross Counter crew is running a tournament, an invitational, I think, 2v2 tournament on Thursday, right, at 2 p.m., I believe it is.
2 p.m.
So there's we can watch that and see how that goes. That should be pretty exciting. Hopefully, it'll be cool if we watch that and it's just that much more hype and that much more exciting.
Yeah. I definitely hope so.
Yep.
So, okay, there's that. And then I'd also like to kind of talk about who you think are currently strong or weak characters. And I don't want to frame this as a tier list question because that's ridiculous at this point. We're so far away from having accurate tiers in this game. It's like crazy. But I do feel that we've kind of gotten a little bit of a handle on at least a couple of the characters.
Yeah, I agree. And to be honest with you, probably one of the first ones that comes to mind immediately is going to be Rufus.
Okay.
Because this is not even just me talking about it. This is what I've been hearing from like Justin and stuff. He actually thinks Rufus is too good. Like he says that. I mean, in a game where everything's timing out, he even suggested maybe Rufus should do a little less damage.
Really?
Yeah. He says it's mostly just from that towards fierce into Messiah kick combo that he can kind of do. So, yeah, I mean. But right now, Rufus definitely seems like one of the strongest characters.
Okay. I also want to talk about the other side real fast. I want to talk about M. Bison, the dictator.
Right.
And how I feel like he is just terrible. This game is not like Street Fighter 4. Right. And he's not the same character either. His normal's a little bit different. Scissors can put the opponent in the air. I mean, he's got some different tricks. So it's not exactly the same. It's just that I don't feel like his strengths really play to this game.
Right.
So, okay, he can wake up and have all these escape options, but I already have stand or backdash or roll, and there are ways to get around that. There are things to do about that, but not every character can do that well, and so I already have more escapes than I had in previous games.
Right.
In fact, that's something that people like about it, that there's none of this vortex action going on.
I'm curious. Do you know what a second quick combo is by any chance?
His second quick combo?
I'm gonna go find out what a second quick combo is.
I am not sure. But the issue for him is that he can't. Frame traps are kind of not as important now because throw range is so bad, and he doesn't have very damaging combos anyway. In fact, I saw a post on the Bison thread by Andy OCR where he's really like, you know what, enough. I can't. I gotta switch.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. So I feel like that's a character that's got to be watched in terms of being low tier, unfortunately.
Yeah, a lot of people were saying initially that his stand roundhouse chain was really good.
Yeah, it is.
Somehow, I don't even think that might be the case, because if you block the stand roundhouse, obviously the property of moves change. You could be minus like 10 after that chain,
Well, the stand roundhouse I know has 20 frames of recovery.
Right,
but just naturally. So it's like throwing a fireball. You got to be real sure about it.
But I mean,
just press stand roundhouse.
But see
look at that.
Right. But the thing about it is, like, it's even longer when you chain into
it. Oh yeah,
it,
sure.
Because that's just the way the game is designed, right?
Right.
So
So yeah, I mean that's a potential problem character. Oh, that's it. Oh, I mean it's just a combo. Yeah. Anyway.
No, the reason why I was wondering, because it would be cool if it was a combo that just started directly with the scissor kick, kind of like Vega, how he just starts with the Scarlet Terror right away.
Right.
Because if he started just with the scissor kick right away, like if he just did that part right at the end,
Yeah, I hear that.
or maybe even low strong in the stand forward or something like that. I feel like maybe he might be better if you can just burn a meter to run around and attack with a quick combo. I don't know. But.
Yeah, I don't know. A lot of people are saying that Yoshimitsu doesn't seem very good because his normals are have no range for some
I
reason.
have heard a lot of complaining about Yoshimitsu. I've heard a lot of people saying Yoshimitsu is horrible in this game.
I actually haven't even tried him yet, but I hear that so consistently from people that they think that he's a bad character.
Yeah.
Let's see, on the strong character side of things, okay, so I want to say Hugo has won some stuff, and for example, Clay D used Zangief Hugo to win a tournament. I feel like Hugo is a weak one character, he's Marvel vs. Capcom 3 Sentinel.
Well, I was
he'll kind of go away.
Yeah, I was talking about it a lot during the stream when Clay D was beating a lot of people, and we talk about this all. We call it grappler syndrome. Every game that comes out, the grapplers are number one right away, always. So, the example I gave is: do you remember when AE first came out? What did Daigo say? He said that Zangief was going to be top tier because he beats Yin and Yang. For that sole reason, he was going to be a top tier character. Before 2012 came out, by the time it got to the end, Yin and Yang beat Zangief. Pretty soundly too, right? So this is and the other greatest example was when Street Fighter 4 first came out. Viper died to Zangief. That was one of the freest matches ever.
Yes.
And now that match is heavily in Viper's favor.
It's probably 6-4 Viper.
Yeah. So it's just every game. The only game I can think of where the grappler did not drop was Accent Core, where Potemkin was just amazing, but it had nothing to do with him being a grappler. Because he has this earthquake move that he could drain all this life from.
I mean, he had good tools. So yeah, Hugo's a character to watch out as far as falling. I feel like Ryu is really strong. He's very safe and very damaging, and can play well up close or far away or mid range. Just a really good all around character.
I feel like a lot of the Tekken characters are going to be really good.
I agree.
Just because they have the high-low mix-ups. And I just feel like a lot of the Street Fighter characters don't have that. I mean, I look at these characters. Obviously, I'm a Kami user. I have no overhead. I have no chip. Yeah. My dive kick is horrible in this game. Yeah. So, basically my entire pressure game comes from jab, 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 jab. So every time I do hit you, I drain... I get to punish you or whatever, but I drain this tiny bit of damage because I've damage reduced myself with 2 or 3 jabs already. So
I guess that's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't really love Zangief that much. I feel like he's another kind of early on character, but same kind of grappler syndrome. But I definitely agree with Tekken characters being really strong. They have stronger mix-ups in a game where offense is not as easy as it has been in previous games. So I think that's a really big plus for them.
Yeah, and Jabali says that he believes all Tekken characters die to Zangief. And I agree with that. That's another week 1, week 2 kind of assessment. And like I said, Yun and Yang died to him because they had to rush down as well. But eventually, you just find those 4 buttons that are really good at zoning Zangief,
right?
And you just throw those out, and it's so hard.
Pretty much, yeah.
For Zangief to get in. So we'll see. I mean, the biggest difference in this game and all the other games is the forward roll. I think that kind of changes a lot for grapplers. Is that you can't do meaty fireball pressure and such like that. So.
Right. So the biggest. So I'm trying to switch away from playing grapplers at all in this game. Command grabs look like they do good damage. They'll do 200, 230, something like that, which sounds good, but if you realize that mix-ups in this game routinely end up in 500 or 600 damage now, already, who knows what they'll end up eventually.
Right.
Command grabs cannot be tag canceled, and they always knock down, and that means that they just do that much damage, and then the opponent, Geef has better stuff to say than Hugo does about backdash and roll, but it's still a chance for them to get out, and that's pretty low damage, unfortunately.
Right.
Anybody else in particular that you've investigated that you...
Well,
think
I mean,
anything about?
right now Rolento seems really good.
Yeah, he does.
But Rolento's a character that I feel like we're gonna have to figure out how good he turns out to be after we start using alpha counters.
That's huge.
I don't feel like we're using alpha counters enough, and especially with characters with these crazy juggles. If you have 2 meters, alpha counter and a switch cancel is really powerful.
Yeah.
And the window for alpha counters is fairly small in this game, but with Rolento, because he's doing Patriot circles all day,
Yep.
it's a lot easier to alpha counter.
Each of those little things, each one of those is alpha counterable. So.
Exactly. So I feel like he might get weaker, but obviously this is a meter-hungry game, so it's kind of hard to say.
I mean, he's a good battery.
Yeah.
Right.
I've
He builds
heard
meter well.
I've heard from a lot of people that Jury is good.
Okay, I haven't even seen anybody play her yet, so that's interesting.
I can't remember. I remember reading someone that just said that.
I know Flo's been playing her, but I haven't seen it.
Yeah, so I've heard Jury might be a problem. And actually, I was really kind of happy to see Arturo do really well with Dalsum.
Yeah, me too.
Because I thought he was going to be just one of the worst characters in this game. I honestly did. I thought, look, you're just going to jump at him, try to hit him, he's going to counter hit you out of the air, and then you just roll forward and be like, hi, Dalsum. But... I was glad to see Arturo actually play a very strongly defensive game, a standard Dalsum game that he was still able to zone people out. So.
Yeah. I don't know. I guess that's all the characters I've had any familiarity with.
Yeah. I mean, unfortunately, I haven't messed around with a lot of the characters yet. Raven, I mean, he seems like he might be a really good zoning character, but he's really limited. He has no options. So I just have a funny feeling once we start developing a lot of these option selects and getting used to what he does that... Yeah. He's gonna end up being beatable.
Could be. I don't know. All right. I guess let's take a little bit of a break. We'll be back in just a second.
All right.
Okay. Welcome back. So I just kind of want to close off this talk about Street Fighter Cross Tekken in its very, very early stages. Again, super early in this game's life.
Right.
And games always evolve a lot. And very, very rarely do they end up being the games that they were at the start.
I mean, a perfect example of this is like CVS2 again. Yeah. How the game started off with this Sagat crouch fierce of death, that was super defensive. And then, of all things, roll canceling.
Yeah.
A glitch that we were not expecting balanced the game a little bit more. So, we have no idea where this is going to go. As pessimistic as we're sounding, I would love to, I still have hope that this game can turn out to be a very strong game. Yeah,
I don't want to sound pessimistic in the long run. I just think that the current state of the game is not that great. But that's not to say that it can't be super awesome later. Mm-hmm. I mean, I fully expect that people will change their characters and figure out ways around the characters that slow the game down, and that they'll end up with more damaging combos than they currently have. I'm sure that stuff will happen. And hopefully that means that the game is faster and more interesting.
Yep.
Obviously that would be the best. That's what we're all hoping for. So we'll see. But right now, just talking about right now, that's all we can really mention right now. So.
And we'll probably try playing a little bit more right now later after the show.
Yeah, Ed Ma's gonna come over.
Yeah, and we're gonna try using non-grappler characters.
Yes, we are.
To see how it goes. And then maybe we should try using them against him and see if we can make it boring again. But we'll see.
Yeah, we'll do that. Okay, cool.
All right, but as we've talked about in previous weeks, one of the things that we wanted to start doing here was to start giving shout-outs to different scenes within the community. And I have gotten a few more emails, and still some emails from the first time we talked about it. And, one of the things, I just want to read a little bit of this email here that I got. I heard from both sides of this, actually. We gave a shout-out to Main's group, Fight Me. And apparently there was another Maine fighting game group there called the Maine Fighting Gamers Alliance.
Yeah.
They were the ones watching, and they saw the shout-out to Fight Me, and they had no idea this other scene existed. And so now, according to this email from Jared here, he says they already have 2 North versus South events planned that they're going to try to fight each other in, I think is what they said.
This looks like Central.
Oh, yeah, Central. So,
in Bangor versus Portland. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, man. So it's actually really cool. So, definitely it's really cool that, so, if you want your scene to, if you want us to shout out your scene, you never know. You might find out there's a whole nother group there. I got an email from Patrick Zaragoza, and, he's from Greenville, South Carolina. And, he said he's a new scene. and they're trying to, get a start there. And they just ran an event called Brawl at the Beach 2 in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina.
That's cool.
And they're planning to do a third one. So they're
Awesome.
actually going to do a third one. They say they want to stream their events. They have plenty of dedicated organizers who are trying to improve the quality of their tournaments. So that's really cool.
That was in Greenville and Myrtle Beach, you said?
Yeah,
Okay,
and I sent him an email just asking if there was any places where they can be contacted easily. And he said, let me see, he was preparing for final round, so he didn't actually get a chance to set up a lot of things, but he did say that there is a Facebook group page called SC Fighting Game Community, so South Carolina Fighting Game Community. It's not a page that can be liked, it's actually a group within Facebook, so you can look for that.
Cool.
And then, of course, you can also look up Brawl at the Beach information. I hope Patrick's listening, and I hope that they've set up a thread on SRK in the tournament events or the matchmaking forums.
On shoryuken.com.
Yeah, sorry, on shoryuken.com.
Just in case people aren't aware.
So yeah, definitely shout outs to the South Carolina scene there. Another scene that I saw here, where is it? Anchorage, Alaska.
Right.
I actually wanted to talk about these guys. So Bombi Kitchpanic, I guess is how you pronounce his name.
Kitchpanic?
I don't want to butcher your name. I apologize ahead of time. But he also sent us an email here. And, the interesting thing is they actually have a player that is fairly known in Weirdo Neo. So, yeah, I mean...
Yeah, sure. Known for using jury.
Yep. And it's one of those situations, I was talking to... okay, I'll get into this afterwards because I don't want to sabotage Anchorage's group here by talking about another group. But but he Bombi here, who calls himself E-Bomb online, he actually says that there's actually a pretty good group of people that are playing there.
Awesome.
And they play every Tuesday evening. And in fact, they have a bunch of YouTube videos on youtube.com/Alaska Gamers.
Or twitch.tv/Alaska Gamers.
Yep. So he actually streams their Ranbats. And he says they're currently on break between seasons, but you can find out more information from them at alaskagamers.net.
And they're also on Twitter @AlaskaGamers.
Yep. And he says they have a Facebook group, and they have over 120 members right now.
Awesome.
And he said that they started with Tekken. They played a lot of Tekken. And let me see. It says Evo 2011 winner Core warmed up right before finals with our Tekken players at our hotel room before going to the main room. So he was actually... he's 22 Alaskans flew out to Evo last year.
I remember how many people came out. Remember they came out to Revelations, I think it was. Either Revelations or SoCal Regionals.
That's right. Yeah, they came to Revelations. Yeah.
It was Revelations, right?
Yeah, they came out to Revelations because I remember
awesome.
hearing Weirdo Neo was there and such.
Yeah, it was very impressive.
Yeah, so it's actually really, really cool. They also have a pic here, but I'll tweet this on a little bit later.
Yeah, by the way, we'll tweet all the scenes that we talk about. We'll tweet out information just in case people are interested and didn't catch everything at the time.
Right. And one thing I do want to say, it's really great that a scene like this has a player like Weirdo Neo, because they said that he placed top 16 at Evo 2010. And it's really great to have a player like this in your scene, to kind of be a goal. You have to look at them as someone that you want to beat. And the reason why I'm talking about this, I do want to bring up, I was talking to Peru and Gustavo at final round. And
from the Salt Lake City area.
Right, Salt Lake City. And they're having a tournament this weekend, St. Patrick Beatdown, I think it is. So in Salt Lake City, and Peru and Gustavo are supposedly going to be there. So definitely check that out. You can see I tweeted that. I retweeted that from somebody else. So check my Twitter for that. But the Salt Lake City scene has two amazing players, Gustavo and Peru. And actually, what was the name of the Ryu player who was at final round? Invested. Also a very strong player. And I talked to them, actually. I was talking to all three of them, and I asked them how their scene was. And Peru actually mentioned to me that one of the problems with their scene is that the three of them are actually almost too strong, that the other players have gotten intimidated, that they stopped trying. And I told Peru's real name Renzo, right? I told Renzo, it's kind of a tough thing to do because one, you don't want to go easy on anybody because you want them to learn, right? Mm-hmm. But it's kind of part of their responsibility to teach a lot of the players, and they say they do. They try to help them a lot. But honestly, everybody else who's in that Salt Lake City scene has to realize just how lucky they are to have
blown up.
Yeah, Gustavo invested and iPeru in their scene.
Yeah,
because
for sure.
These are people who are getting top 32 at Evos. iPeru got third at SoCal. He got third, right? And he beat Latif, second place Evo finisher, right? This is not easy to have.
Yeah.
You do not find scenes where you have players of this caliber all the time.
Right.
And if you have players like that, you have to take advantage of it. And if you lose to these players, take the time to turn to them and say, what could I have done better? How could I have beaten you? And a lot of these players, you'll be surprised, will teach you how to beat them.
Yeah, I mean, they'll give you tips, but it's definitely on the players themselves. It's on the rest of the scene. I mean, one or two people don't make a scene. Everybody else has to be interested in trying to win and trying to learn and in coming out to events.
Yeah.
And it's all those people together that end up doing it. If you have great players in your scene, you're very, very lucky. And take advantage of that. But if you don't, work to be that guy, work to be that player.
Right.
So anyway, we also have somebody from Mexico.
One more group here, a Mexico scene from
Sinaloa,
Mexico. This group is apparently called the Darksiders team. And
I see we actually have a couple. So there's one from Sinaloa.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And then there's also one in Mexico City.
Team La Cueva. And and apparently the Darksiders team broadcast every Thursday, and they have their own league called the Power League. And you can actually find their channel on Twitch TV /team_DS. And on May 5th and 6th, they'll actually be holding a tournament.
In Culiacan.
And they're going to be playing a lot of these games here. They're going to have AE 2012, UMVC3, KOF 13. And, they said that they're in talks about Street Fighter Cross Tekken right now. Yeah. And the other team, Team La Cueva, is you can follow them on twitch.tv /Team La Cueva TV. And there's even two more teams in Mexico.
From Tijuana, they have
Team Lago.
The best tournament organizers in the country, apparently. Just very far away from, Tijuana. If you're not familiar with Mexican geography, it's kind of far away from other major cities in the country. They don't have. It says that they don't get support from stronger players, but I hope that changes. That people come there more often.
Yep. And then, they've worked with the LA crew for KOF tournaments because Tijuana is really close to, California.
It's next to San Diego,
right.
Yeah.
So, and then the last group, they don't have any name, but they play in Leon, Mexico. And I guess they did an experiment on Twitch TV about a couple of weeks ago. So I guess they're trying to build that up to start streaming.
But in any case, have that info for the group from Sinaloa and also from Mexico City. And like we said before, we'll be tweeting out all this information on our Twitter, which is at UltraChenTV. You can follow that and see, if you happen to live in one of the areas that we mentioned, we'll put that information out for you and tell you how you can get in contact with those scenes.
Yeah, and the reason why I mentioned the Mexico scene, this one in particular, is because, I'm not isolating this to just U.S.
Oh, of course not.
If you have scenes anywhere, Africa, in China, in... anywhere in the world.
I specifically remember there was an Irish scene that you bumped a couple of times, not on this show, but in tournaments past. So definitely, we want to get as much attention on as many scenes as we possibly can, and help grow the community in that way.
Yeah, and so far it's been the same story every time that. Whenever we've given a shout out to these scenes, someone invariably goes, that's right around my corner, and I had no idea it existed. So, definitely these are great ways to help build the scene to try to get the exposure out there.
Yeah. So again, we'll put a tweet out about that. I guess that's all for our show today. There is not going to be a Cross Counter Live tonight, in case you were wondering.
Yeah. I'm going to miss my Steve.
I know, dude. The Steve show with Mike and Gutex, it was so good. That was the best part.
Right.
The Steve show. Not going to be on tonight, unfortunately.
Yeah, but as we mentioned before, they are going to have the tournament on Thursday. at 2 p.m. So they're going to be running that tournament there. Before that is actually going to be Thursday Night Hype in Guam, right?
Yeah, dude. So Wednesday night fights, obviously tomorrow night. Hope you check that out at twitch.tv/leveluplive. Then when I get home at 3:30 our time or 4 o'clock our time, because it's freaking 100-mile round trip to Wednesday night fights every night, every week. That's when the Guam show is on.
Thursday Night Hype. Right?
It's twitch.tv/Shado Gaming, SHAYDO Gaming.
Okay.
So anyway.
And then at 2 p.m. there's going to be the cross counter, and then Thursday Night Throwdowns.
Yeah.
In Northern California, streamed on SRK Live's channel, streamed by the I Play Winner group. So, is it I Play Winner?
I think it's Finest KO.
Oh, it's Finest KO who's streaming that. Okay,
I'm not 100% on that, but that's what I think is the case.
But you get to see a lot of players there, and now that PR Og's out there, he's playing every week, so it's always PR Og, and Ricky's there, Shady K shows up, and everyone from FGTV Filipino Champ was there. So
that's right.
The caliber of play for that tournament is just huge.
And again, please send us information about your scenes if you have it at our email address, which is ultrachentv@gmail.com. We always make sure to read stuff there, whether it's a question to, subject line Ask jchensor about beginner stuff, or Ask Ultra David about more high level stuff, or just information about your local communities. We always make sure to read that. So.
Yep.
Cool.
All
right. So we'll see you next week, Monday night and Tuesday night at 8 p.m. Pacific time. That's where we always are on this channel, twitch.tv/ultrachentv. I'll put this up on YouTube tomorrow. Right. I've already put up one of the episodes from last night.
Okay. So. And also don't forget, follow us on, I know we've mentioned it a bunch of times, but follow us on Twitter for all the information about the scenes that we already just talked about.
Exactly right. All right. So we'll see you next week. Thanks a lot for watching.
Peace out, everyone.